Hey everyone, it is Allison. Welcome back to my channel. It feels weird for me to sit down and film this video, but I know I have to. I know I wouldn't feel right if I didn't sit down to address things and just be able to talk to you guys about everything. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous to be filming this video because I just know that people just face backlash for these types of videos, or just not everybody's gonna like it, which is just kind of the truth of life. Like, that's kind of the reality of life, that not everybody is going to like you and, you know, will appreciate some of your views and opinions. But you know what? At the end of the day, I have a platform. I know I can reach more people with my channel than, you know, people on Instagram and other social media accounts. So I know that at the end of the day that hopefully this will be able to reach more people, and really this video is going to be a start of a new series that I'm starting, and it's called Let's Talk About It. So this series will pretty much be talking about other important topics, or just things I want to get off my chest, and a bit more serious, maybe even some lighthearted things. I want my channel to be a place where I can encourage you guys, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. I will be addressing, you know, racism and like what's happening in our world right now, and kind of ways to encourage you guys to engage and get involved in any way that you can, and because it's honestly making, like, we are seeing progress and we're seeing accomplishments made because of each of our individual efforts in educating ourselves and having conversations to dismantle racism. So I feel like if I can reach more people through my platform, then like I'm gonna do it, you know what I mean? Especially because I feel like it's super important to have these types of conversations, and I want you guys to know that I'm willing to talk about it and, you know, use my platform to be able to encourage you guys and educate you guys in any way that I can. So yeah, I feel like honestly, like, everything that's happened these past few weeks has actually been the push that I needed to be able to speak out and do more of these types of videos. And hopefully that's what this video will be for me, that it will be kind of the push that I need when it comes to talking more about these important topics. So hopefully you guys will support me in this, and if you guys have any other topics that you guys want me to cover in this series, let me know in the comments down below, because I feel really strongly about this, especially about this topic that we'll be discussing today. And I don't know, I just feel like I have a lot of thoughts and I want to be able to use my platform to share them. Like, it's crazy because, like, literally in a blink of an eye, like, people were angry and people were outraged, and rightfully so, because to see an unarmed black man be screaming that he can't breathe and just literally pleading for his life, and this is being videotaped, and this white police officer has his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I'm pretty sure that is the specific number. And to just be there, having no remorse on his face, like, not even like acting as if he's done this before, it just it literally like made my blood boil and like my veins just like popping out, because I'm just like, how can you sit there and know that you are ending somebody's life so selfishly and without any rhyme or reason to? Like, it's just really heartbreaking for me. So like, when I saw the video, I tried not to see, like, I'm not kidding, like, I couldn't really watch the shooting of Ahmaud Arbery, like, just I couldn't get myself to watch it, but this one I made myself watch it, and it was so heartbreaking, and I literally was crying because I was like, you feel helpless in many ways, and you feel like it could happen to you. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. But at the same time, obviously I know the topic when it comes to racism is privilege, you know, like, I know that I will never understand how that feels, and the heartbreak I feel and the sadness I feel in my spirit is never going to be at the same extent as to how Black people are feeling. Oh my gosh, my light's not on. Sorry. it's never going to be to the same extent as how Black people are feeling, where you constantly, when you leave your house, you constantly have to feel like you're walking on glass, because you don't know what thing you're never going to know. Like, you know, you're just doing a simple thing, living out your life, and you're doing something that is ordinary, and then for somebody just to take your life away for jogging, for just doing normal things, like, you question yourself, and you just ask, like, well, like, what if it's me next? Like, what if I'm just doing this and I'm Black? Like, will I become a target of police brutality? Will I be shot or murdered, and just because of my skin color? Like, you just question these things, and it's just a sad thing to think about, that you have to constantly be feeling, you have to go about your life in fear, in constant fear. And I will never understand how that feels. I will never know the weight of that, because I'm not a person, though I'm a person of color, I'm not Black. And we know that Black people are the most oppressed group in our country. And so it's just sad for me. It's really saddening to me to be able to, it's just really sad that they have to deal with this more than any other person in this world. And it just makes me so sad. And so I feel like during this time I've had a lot of self-reflection. I've had a good amount of time now to think about more things and recognize my own privilege. You know, like, I don't have to, you know, have the talk with my parents, or my parents don't have to talk to me when I'm, you know, really young, about what happens when you get stopped by police. Like, and like having to have that talk with your children is just, it's not necessary. And we shouldn't have to have that talk with our kids, because at the end of the day, it's ridiculous that we have to think about those things and have those talks with our kids. Like, it's just ridiculous that we have to. And it's sad that we've gotten to the point where honestly we don't see each other as people, as human beings. And it's been like that for several centuries now. Like, and like, I just wanted to say, like, for people who think that like racism doesn't exist, like, it's really mind-blowing for me, because it's like, you have to really be so ignorant to not see it. Like, you have to really be blind to not see systemic racism in our country. The fact that Black people, if they commit a crime, whether it's like a drug offense, like a low-level offense, they get put behind bars for practically life, their whole life, like 40 years or more. Like, it's insane. And for some people to not see that is really mind-blowing for me. Like, it's really hard for me to believe. And so there are so many ways that Black people in our country have been oppressed and have been targets and victims to systemic racism. And the reason why it's systemic racism is because there have been policies put in place for Black people to not be at the same level as, let's say, white people. Like, there are policies in place such as redlining, such as tax credits, such as housing discrimination, just like redlining. Like, there's so many ways in which Black people continue to be oppressed and continue to not get the same opportunities as white people. Also with the, oh my gosh, I forgot what it's called, but again, with like education, like, if you don't go to a really nice, if you go to a like low level, like poverty stricken, you know, if you live in that type of area, like, especially if you're a Black person, like, you're not going to get the same education opportunities as someone who lives in a very affluent and like white neighborhood. Like, you're just not going to get the same opportunities like in education. Like, it's just really, it's so, for me to hear people say that they don't see that racism doesn't exist, especially with systemic racism, it's really hard for me to believe, especially with mass incarceration with Black people, like that I talked about earlier. Like, it's clear that literally every single part of our system has been, like, racism has been embedded in it. So that's why it's called institutional racism, why it's called systemic racism. And so I just wanted to address that really quick. And so it's, at the end of the day, it's like, for people not to see that racism is an issue and that it does, and like for people to argue that it doesn't exist, it's really hard for me to believe. And so I guess I just wanted to say that really quick, because I think it's really important to address racism not only within ourselves and some of the beliefs that we have within our own communities, but also in the thoughts that we have, but also recognizing that systemic. But going off with that, I also wanted to reach out to especially my Asian community and also just, you know, Filipinos out there, my Filipino brothers and sisters. I wanted to also talk to you guys because I feel like within our own community, and this could be true of the Latinx community, other communities that kind of have these beliefs and these kind of kind of biases against different racial groups, and within, and I guess I just wanted to preface this by saying I love being Filipino. Like, I'm not trying to bash us, but like at the same time, like, because I'm also Filipino, I believe that I feel like I know more about obviously our community, and just growing up with parents that are Filipino, like I understand more about that because I'm obviously Filipino, so I know more about it. So I just wanted to say that, but also I'm not trying to bash us, like bash Filipinos. Like I love being Filipino in the Philippines, but like at the same time I have to in many ways like call out, but like also educate other Filipinos out there, because there is anti-blackness talks that happen within our own families, and whether it's you shouldn't go outside because you'll get dark, as if it's a bad thing, or you shouldn't be dating people who are black or have darker skin. Like, it's those things that you grow up hearing. And I'm not gonna lie, like looking back, like when I was younger, obviously I didn't see an issue with it. It was just kind of it was just very normalized because you hear it all the time, whether it's your parents or your grandparents or aunts and uncles, like people that are older than you hear it. And so, you know, now being older and recognizing that, that's just recognizing how wrong that is and the issues with those statements and beliefs, I recognize, and I feel like I have a duty and a responsibility to educate, you know, the people around me, not calling them out, but rather calling them in and talking to them and saying that this is not right. Like, these things that you believe are just wrong, and like just educating them as to why these beliefs are wrong, and recognizing that these biases we have, they contribute to racism in general and the systemic racism that we have. And just because my family and the people that I have around me that kind of hold these beliefs, obviously they have these biases and they have these beliefs, but they don't obviously act on them, but they're still in many ways racist. And so it's important for all of us to have these difficult conversations with family and friends. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard for me because I have so much respect for the people around me, especially my family and my parents, but at the same time, I know deep down that these beliefs contribute to racism in general and the systemic racism. So I really, as much as it is hard for me to discuss it and kind of have those uncomfortable talks with my family, I know that having those is a way to create change and a way for me to dismantle racism within my own family, and hoping that you guys can do the same. So I'm reaching out to people that are my age, from this generation of Filipinos who recognize the issues with these statements and with these beliefs, and I'm inviting you guys to have these conversations with your family, educating them, and just being able to tell them and inform them about some of the issues with these and how it contributes to racism. And I also wanted to mention, because I read something online, but it was about the idea of like you're being hypocritical if you are endorsing whitening products, which happens a lot in a lot of Asian countries, especially the Philippines, and also supporting Black Lives Matter. Like, those just don't match up together, because you're endorsing whitening products, which basically means that you are encouraging and promoting, you know, whiter and lighter skin, whereas you're also trying to support Black Lives Matter. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And so I also wanted to say that because a lot of Asian countries, especially the Philippines, we have adapted the idea for, you know, lighter skin and like how it's more superior than darker skin. That's where that comes from. And so it's apparent that there is colorism within the Filipino community, within within the Filipinx community. And so a lot of that thinking is actually because we were colonized by the United States, because we were colonized by Japan. because we were also colonized by Spain. And so because of that, we have this colonial mentality that white is superior than dark, and that like lighter, whiter skin is superior than darker skin. And that's where that mentality comes from. And we have been victims of that because of that mentality. And so we have these beliefs and thinkings because of colonization. And so I think it's important to recognize that we have been victims of it, and we've been victims to the point that we are kind of creating that cycle of, you know, having those beliefs and sharing them to the next generation and the next generation. So I think it's really important to dismantle those thinkings. And I think it's really important that we, as the younger, the newer generations, like actually, you know, talking about it with our parents and recognizing where these beliefs have come from. I guess with that, I also wanted to talk about some ways to educate yourself. I have a bunch of different resources down below that I would want you guys to check out. I tried to find different donations, different ways to donate within like organizations that not many people have talked about or aren't really popular. So I really tried to expand my list. So I left literally ways to donate, ways like films and books to read, podcasts to listen to. I even have an asterisk, I don't know, that on the things I've listened to, like books that I've read or like TV shows or films that I've watched or podcast episodes I listened to. That is all, there's like an asterisk next to the ones that I have listened to, read, etc. So definitely check those out. I spent a lot of time trying to put all of that together. So yeah, I'm probably still, after this video, I'm still going to be putting more things on there. So definitely check the description box out to see any just resources and all of that. So I tried to compile a decent amount of stuff in there. And also I wanted to ask you guys if you guys can comment down below any Black YouTubers, Black creators that you guys really love, that you think need to get more recognition, that many people don't know about. I really would love to follow more, because I noticed, along with I think a lot of other creators, that I do follow a lot of white YouTubers and creators, and I don't know, I think that's just how the algorithm works on YouTube or whatever. They're like a lot of like Black creators, they don't get the same attention, they aren't seen a lot on my recommended pages on YouTube, like they're just not out there, and it's really sad. So I really want to know any Black creators, Black YouTubers that you guys really adore, that you guys think deserve more popularity, that their videos are really great, that you guys want more people to watch them. Let me know in the comments down below, because I would really want to follow more and actually like watch more. They just don't show up because of YouTube's algorithm, which honestly is really sad. So I really want to be able to watch more of them and also have you guys follow them. So whatever you guys like, comment down, like whatever you guys like leave in the comments in terms of like Black creators, I will also add that to the description box and probably mention it in the next video I upload, just because I want to make sure that they get the recognition that they deserve, that more people follow them and watch their videos. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I was really struggling trying to like find some, because I'm like, oh wait, like I don't really follow a lot of them. Like maybe like there's like bigger ones that like, you know, people know about, but like there's not really a ton, which honestly is just really disheartening. So I want to be able to share more of their content and be able to find a way to have them get more views and have more people follow them, especially because I know that they all work so hard. So I really want to make sure that they are getting the recognition that they deserve. I hope you guys are able to listen to what I have to say, and yeah, hopefully this video will encourage you guys to get involved, to get engaged, and find ways to sign petitions, to donate, to educate yourself in any way that you can, because that is really what will create lasting changes. It depends on it relies on each person's part. It relies on each and every one of us. And if I can make a video that will reach more people on here, then I mean, I feel like I've done my job if I'm able to inspire and educate you guys to do your part in finding ways to fight racism in our country. And so I think it really begins with all of us. And I also want to say that it also begins with a heart change. It also depends on where our heart is at. If we have a real passion for this, and if we feel at the end of the day like we need to do something, and that at the end of the day you feel like your heart is, like your spirit and your soul is telling you to do something, do it. I think it really is important that our heart is in the right place, because you can read all the books that you want, you can educate yourself as much as you want, you can have conversations with other Black people, but if you within yourself don't feel like you have the heart, or you don't have the same passion that we have for Black Lives Matter, and you don't have that same passion, it's going to be very hard for you to change those beliefs of yours and to kind of shift your beliefs when you don't deep down feel like you have the heart to fight this. So I just wanted to say that. Also, I wanted to say, sorry this video is all over the place, but I also want to say that we're all flawed people. We are human beings at the end of the day. We're not perfect. So obviously all of us have had beliefs or, you know, thoughts that kind of foster racism, but obviously not all of us probably have said it out loud, or we've all had thoughts about it, but we've never acted on it. It still contributes to racism, and we need to find a way to dismantle that. So it also is important for you guys to self-reflect. I've done a lot of self-reflection these last few days and last few weeks, so I think it's really important. I feel like that's the first step that we need to take, is reflecting on our own thoughts and seeing where we have maybe contributed to racism and find ways to dismantle that. And I think it starts within our own selves before you call out other people and educate other people. I think it starts with yourself. So I just want to make that quick little thought. But yeah, this video was so all over the place. I'm so sorry, but I just have a lot to say and want to be able to get it all out for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you guys were willing to hear me out, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Hope you guys are staying safe and healthy. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is what side of history do you want to be on? That's it. So yeah, bye guys.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Turn this room, turn it to an ocean. Let me float around. Eyes closed, like we're dreaming even when we're not. You and me got a whole other meaning, I don't know how. You and me just know how it feels when we're falling in love. Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Show me there's nothing fake to me now. I wanna wake up with you in the morning. Say what you wanna say to me.